So I think for one hand, youth workers need to understand that algorithms form the information and interaction environment of young people as well as for themselves in a lot of cases, and in a lot of circumstances young people are simply like affected by, let's say, algorithmic programming that intrudes into their everyday life, whether it's digital or non-digital, so it's interwoven. And to me, a very, very interesting finding is to understand or that youth workers at all develop capacities about digitalization or digitality, and that you cannot, let's say, outperform a peer group which is a digital one or kind of a news group or whatever, but on the other hand, think about what is the value of your personal interaction with young kids, young people, and that actually also an analog interaction or a digital analog interaction with a youth worker might have an own value. Young people look for a lot of, let's say, a lot of belonging or social belonging is a huge question. And I think in a lot of cases, young people also need to be reintroduced to encounters in a way, to analog encounters, since social interaction is not only digitally mediated. And I hear from a lot of social workers that this analog experiences are actually super important and are lacking. Yeah. To deal with polarization today, I think one of the super tasks or super skills of youth workers is active listening, is to stay curious wherever you can, and not to make, let's say, pre-assumptions and judgments about what young people will bring, since the young people itself are the asset once they are there in order to work with. Yeah. So I think we always have to believe in the opportunity that kind of through interaction also certain mindsets, certain assumptions about society can be irritated, certain assumptions are confirmed, experiences are made, and let's say whenever there is, let's say, uncomfortable positions of young people issued in an exchange or in a social situation, first of all, this is a statement, and then it should be the role of the youth workers to come, let's say, into an interaction about that, not to block it, but thinking about like kind of how can we understand what is the matter of the young person, what is the experience of the young person, to come to, let's say, very, very contradictory opinions on topics as they are. Getting awareness or developing a consciousness about that what is digitally mediated is not only like interaction between people, but is following or is feeding different purposes, which is economic purposes, which is kind of probability purposes of an algorithm, and to have a high attention on this, I think, and a high awareness about this. It becomes specifically important when it's about kind of what role models to follow, kind of what truths to believe, how to confirm or how to assess them in a certain way. Since algorithms do not only feed, let's say, the individual data mirror or image of a person, but also they tell you something about the wider social and societal context you are in. Yeah, it means kind of if I live in a region where probably a lot of people are kind of in favor of undemocratic politics, the probability that by researching something in social media or by digital means that I get these answers only and first and foremost is relatively high, and it takes much more efforts like to get valid information that is also countering this. And I think if young people can develop a sensitivity about that and also kind of can develop a sensitivity about what rights they have in the digital sphere and how their rights are used or claimed or confirmed or protected, and that they also get kind of instruments or supported in claiming their rights towards companies, towards economies that are really big. I think it would be a very, very important skill for young people.